US President Donald Trump's recent actions and statements have sent shockwaves through the transatlantic alliance, raising serious questions about the future of NATO and the United States' commitment to European security. His unpredictable approach to foreign policy has left many wondering if the US is still a reliable partner. The catalyst for this renewed debate was the unexpected and highly publicized meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump. What was supposed to be a routine diplomatic exchange turned into a televised spectacle, with Trump and his allies echoing Kremlin talking points, blaming Ukraine and NATO for the ongoing conflict with Russia. This moment was not just a diplomatic faux pas, it was a stark reminder of the fragility of transatlantic relations. This pro-Putin stance has left many European leaders and analysts deeply concerned about the reliability of US security guarantees. The uncertainty has led to a palpable sense of unease across European capitals. Trump's rhetoric, often seen as a tactic to appeal to his domestic base, has nevertheless had profound geopolitical consequences. His speeches, filled with nationalist fervor, have resonated with a segment of the American populace, but have also alienated long-standing allies. His actions seem to signal a shift in US foreign policy, one that prioritizes American interests above all else, even at the expense of long-standing alliances. This America-first approach has led to a re-evaluation of global partnerships. This perceived retreat from the world stage has left a vacuum in global leadership, one that Russia and China have been quick to exploit. Both nations have seized the opportunity to expand their influence in regions traditionally dominated by Western powers. The implications of Trump's actions extend far beyond the current conflict in Ukraine. They have sparked a broader debate about the future of international alliances and the role of the United States in global security. They have called into question the very foundations of NATO, an organization built on the principle of collective defense. The idea that an attack on one is an attack on all is now being scrutinized more than ever. If one member state can no longer rely on the unwavering support of the others, particularly the United States, the entire alliance is weakened. This erosion of trust could have long-lasting effects on global stability. This uncertainty surrounding US commitment has fueled calls for greater European strategic autonomy. European leaders are increasingly discussing the need for a more independent defense strategy. The idea that Europe can no longer solely rely on the US for its defense is gaining traction. This shift in perspective is prompting new defense initiatives and collaborations within Europe. This shift in thinking has profound implications for the future of European security and the transatlantic relationship. As Europe navigates this new reality, the world watches closely, aware that the decisions made today will shape the geopolitical landscape for years to come. Trump's actions have ignited a crisis of confidence in the transatlantic relationship, shaking the very foundations of trust that have been built over decades. European leaders are now forced to confront the possibility that the United States, long seen as the guarantor of European security, may no longer be a reliable partner. This has led to intense discussions and strategic recalibrations within European capitals. This uncertainty is compounded by the unpredictable nature of US politics and the potential for further shifts in foreign policy. The volatility in Washington has made it difficult for European leaders to plan long-term strategies. The debate over US reliability is not merely academic. It has real-world implications for European defense planning and resource allocation. European nations are now re-evaluating their defense budgets and military strategies. If Europe can no longer count on the United States to act as a security blanket, it must be prepared to shoulder a greater share of the burden. This means not only increasing defense spending, but also enhancing military readiness and capabilities. This means increased defense spending, which is a significant shift for many European countries that have long relied on US military support. The development of independent military capabilities, including advanced weaponry and technology to ensure they can defend themselves without external assistance, and a more assertive foreign policy. European nations are now more vocal on the global stage, advocating for their interests with greater determination. The urgency of this task is amplified by the growing threat posed by Russia. Moscow's aggressive maneuvers have heightened the sense of vulnerability among European nations. Moscow's actions in Ukraine, coupled with its increasingly assertive posture in Eastern Europe, have served as a wake-up call for many European nations. The conflict has underscored the need for a robust and unified European defense strategy. The realization that Europe may have to confront Russian aggression with limited US support is a sobering one. This has led to increased military drills and joint exercises among European nations. This crisis of confidence has exposed deep divisions within Europe itself. The debate over how to respond to the changing geopolitical landscape has revealed differing priorities and perspectives among European nations. While some countries, particularly those in Eastern Europe with a history of Russian aggression, are pushing for a more muscular European defense posture, others are more hesitant. This hesitation stems from economic constraints and differing threat perceptions. This division is rooted in differing threat perceptions, historical experiences, and economic realities. The path forward for Europe is complex and fraught with challenges, but the need for a cohesive and strong defense strategy has never been more apparent. The concept of European strategic autonomy has gained significant traction in recent years, fueled by concerns about US reliability and the growing assertiveness of Russia and China. These geopolitical shifts have prompted European leaders to reconsider their defense strategies. But what exactly does strategic autonomy mean? And is it a realistic goal for Europe? The term itself suggests a Europe capable of making independent decisions in defense and security matters. At its core, strategic autonomy implies the ability of the European Union to act independently in the realm of defense and security without relying on the United States or other external actors. This would mark a significant shift in the current defense paradigm. This would entail a significant increase in European defense spending, which has historically been lower compared to other global powers. The development of a more integrated European defense industry, fostering innovation and collaboration across member states, and a greater willingness to deploy military force when necessary. This would require a unified stance on when and how to use military power. Achieving strategic autonomy would be no easy feat. It demands not only financial resources, but also a cohesive political vision. Europe faces significant challenges, including the lack of a unified military command structure, which complicates coordinated action, the absence of a shared strategic culture which affects decision-making processes, and the significant disparities in military capabilities among member states. These differences can hinder effective joint operations. Overcoming these obstacles would require a level of political will and financial commitment that has been elusive in the past. It would also necessitate a shift in public opinion towards greater support for defense initiatives. Furthermore, the question of whether Europe should pursue strategic autonomy is not merely a technical one, it is deeply political. It involves balancing national interests with collective security goals. Some argue that a more independent Europe would be better positioned to defend its interests on the world stage, enhancing its global influence, and would reduce its reliance on an increasingly unpredictable United States. This could lead to a more balanced global power structure. Others counter that a decoupling from the United States would weaken the transatlantic alliance, which has been a cornerstone of European security for decades, and embolden adversaries like Russia and China. The debate continues as Europe navigates its path forward in an increasingly complex world. The pursuit of strategic autonomy comes with a hefty price tag. Significantly increasing defense spending would require difficult choices at a time when European governments are grappling with sluggish economic growth, rising social spending, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Currently, European defense spending lags far behind that of the United States. While NATO members are committed to spending 2% of their GDP on defense, few have actually reached this target. Bridging this gap would require a substantial increase in national defense budgets, a politically challenging proposition in many European capitals. Several proposals have been floated to address the funding challenge. One idea is to create a dedicated European defense fund, similar to the COVID-19 Recovery Fund, which would pool resources and finance joint defense projects. Another suggestion is to explore innovative financing mechanisms, such as issuing Eurobonds backed by future defense spending. However, finding the financial resources is only one part of the equation. Equally important is ensuring that these funds are spent effectively and transparently. This requires tackling issues such as duplication in defense procurement, a lack of interoperability between national militaries, and the slow pace of defense industrial cooperation. So what is Europe's Achilles heel? Well, some say it's the complex web of political and economic alliances. Others point to the reliance on external energy sources, but really it's a combination of factors that make it vulnerable. You see, Europe's strength is also its weakness. The very diversity that brings innovation and cultural richness can, at times, lead to fragmentation and conflict. And let's not forget the historical tensions that still linger beneath the surface. So, yeah, it's a delicate balance, one that requires constant vigilance and cooperation to maintain. Europe's reliance on foreign intelligence has been a subject of concern for many years. Often, European nations have turned to the United States for critical information. This dependence raises questions about sovereignty and the ability to make independent decisions. It's a complex issue, that affects not only security but also political dynamics within Europe. The role of intelligence in shaping defense policy cannot be overstated. Accurate and timely information is crucial for making informed decisions. Without reliable intelligence, defense strategies can falter, leaving nations vulnerable. In many cases, the quality of intelligence can be the deciding factor between success and failure in defense operations. Some experts draw parallels between the current situation and the pre-war era. The reliance on foreign intelligence then as now led to significant strategic missteps. It's a sobering thought, really, that history might be repeating itself. Understanding these parallels can help us avoid the mistakes of the past and build a more secure future. Despite the challenges, there is a glimmer of hope for NATO. Recent initiatives to bolster internal intelligence capabilities show promise. Increased collaboration among member states could lead to a more self-reliant and resilient alliance. It's a step in the right direction, offering a bit of optimism for the future of European and transatlantic security.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.